What's up, hobby friends, and welcome to my studio tour 2.0. So around the end of 2021, my girlfriend told me that she wanted to take my old office slash studio. The windows gave a better view of the front of the house, and she was sick and tired of staring at the neighbor's house wall. So I took that as an opportunity and decided to finally go through my dad's old office, clear out some of his old things, store what I could, goodwill the rest, and basically turn that into my new studio. Finally all settled in, and I thought it was time to give you a tour of the new space. So the office itself is fairly large. It's probably a little over twice the size of the old studio, which means I can spread out my stuff a lot more and not feel as cramped as I was in the old studio space. I still have sections of the room dedicated to specific parts of my hobby, with a few things that sort of have to stay here for general house networking and security stuff. But for the most part, the function of the room is still the same. It's just a lot more open, a lot more space to move around, and because I've been able to take everything and move it onto shelves or store it more easily, it's made it much easier to do my daily clean, to vacuum up all the cat hair, get under the desk and into all the different nooks and crannies, without having to basically rearrange the room every single time. So when you first walk in, this is the white cabinet of stuff that I can't get rid of or can't move out of the room. We have the modem and router with our external camera security system, which doesn't seem to work in the wintertime. I think the temperature fucks with the Bluetooth cameras or Wi-Fi cameras, but that's what you get for buying from China. A house printer for my girlfriend needs to print stuff from work, and just random office supplies. Beside it, I have my new photography setup, a little bit more permanent than the old one. Still stuff pinned to the wall, which I have to clip up when I'm not using because the material is sort of a cotton, almost suede-like material. And especially with the dark fabric, love to attract cat hair. So because my cats love to sleep on them when I'm not using them, I have to pin up at least the dark one to make sure that it doesn't attract all the cat hair, and I have to clean it every single time. Same old dual IKEA lamps mounted to the wall. And then beside that, I have my painting station and workstation. In the old studio, I ended up having both of them side by side and butted up against the wall, and it essentially took up the entire width of the room. It was great to move back and forth, and it was actually very easy to have everything set up that way. However, because of the way the desks were positioned and with all the stuff on them, I couldn't easily pull them apart or pull them away from the wall to clean behind the desks, or if anything were to drop or spill. Having to take apart the desks in the old layout was incredibly frustrating. And you can actually see what I mean, because behind each of the desks is a backboard. And with both desks side by side, I can't get behind the backboard to clean very easily or pick up stuff if it drops, manage my cables. In this new layout, because the desks are back to back and I have everything managed in between, it's actually really easy for me to pull apart one of the desks and get to all the cables behind, clean behind it. If something drops, I can pick it up, and then I can just push the desk back in when I'm done. It's actually probably one of my favorite parts of this layout. I have the pegboard for all my hobby supplies as in the old room. I did get a new compressor. My old one actually crapped out around the beginning of December, actually. It was a cheap eBay one. I mean, very similar to this one, but this one has the tank. So the issue with the older one was when I had it on, it would constantly be vibrating. It had an on-off feature, but basically every time I sprayed, the PSI would drop and then the compressor would kick on and it would vibrate like nobody's business. With the tank, it actually works much, much better. It doesn't really vibrate, and it's not on right now, but the tank fills up in a matter of minutes and it gives me quite a bit of spray time, so I can have that mounted on the table, not on the floor. One less thing to have to worry about cleaning around. I ended up mounting all of my lamps to my monitor arm. So I have my old one with my dual monitors, one facing towards me so I can monitor what I'm recording, and then my workstation in the back, which I'll talk about in a second. And I found an old monitor arm that my brother wasn't using, he left behind. Very sturdy with flat tops, so I ended up using that as well to mount two more lamps. much more secure and stable than in the old layout, which had the flimsy wooden boards that were like poorly nailed to the window frame. So I haven't quite figured out a way to mount my camera yet. This is, I don't want to call it a temporary solution because it does work pretty well. I've got the quick and easy release for the DSLR. So I have that plugged in when I'm working, and then I can hook it up to my computer with this HDMI cable. And then with this power cable, I don't actually need to have the battery in the camera and essentially have it running 24/7. Unfortunately, because of the desks and the lips that they all have, I can't get rid of them without opening huge gaps in there, which I don't want to do. But it does create about an inch height where I can't get a clamp on. And even if I did, the curve of the desk is really annoying. I found this clamp that I thought would work, but not quite. It still requires a flat edge. So I thankfully did have this shelf, which is fairly sturdy. Put it on the side of my desk, and I have the camera arm mounted there. For the time being, it seems to work, although getting the right angle seems to be a little tricky right now. I wish I had my old mounting system, but it can't take the weight of the DSLR at the length I needed to. So this is about from the monitor arm to where I ideally would have the camera mounted is probably about 32 inches. And at that point, the camera just starts to droop and pull down with the arms I have available, and I haven't found a good solution for that yet. So if you have any recommendations, drop it in the comments below. I'll definitely try and check it out. For the time being, though, this seems to work. I just make sure I don't hit it with my head, otherwise it wobbles. Moving around, this is my computer, workstation, editing station, and also where I work. Because I am now fully remote working from home, I felt it important to have a separation of space between where I work and then where I hobby. I have my work laptop set up, and I have one wireless keyboard and mouse that I have connected to a USB 3.0 switch. So with a click of a button, I can switch my peripherals to my work laptop or back to my main computer. I'm trying to find a way that I can also have the monitors hooked up so that I can, with a switch, dual monitor between the computer and the laptop. Haven't found a good solution for that yet. So again, if you know something that you'd recommend, drop it in the video description below. And then my favorite part of the new layout is actually the accent wall. So I have all of my display cabinets for all of my models and miniatures. And I also have my carrying cases displayed on the shelf. In my old layout, they were stuffed in a closet, very hard to get to. And it was actually kind of a pain in the ass to pull them in and out whenever I had to use them. Now that they're mounted on the shelf, I actually have or can take advantage of the display features of the plexiglass covers. And they're much, much easier to grab. So the ones I use the most are the half, or the mini and the half, and I can literally just grab them off the shelf, head to the game store, and I'm good to go. When I'm done, come back, slap them on, and boom. If I want to switch stuff out, it's fairly easy. Open up the door, pull models out, etc. So much more convenient than the old layout. I have all my books, all my gaming cards, dice. And then over here, I have my 3D printing station and supplies. So on this wall, I have a bathroom. It's actually very handy. It's a in-suite bathroom, so very easy to grab water, hot water to help clean my prints, or if I'm airbrushing, I can just jump in and do some rinsing. All my hobby supplies used to actually be in a white storage cabinet. One more thing on the ground, and everything was actually crammed into one little case, which made it difficult to grab the tools I needed. I had to dig around, and I couldn't ever keep it neat and organized, because once I had to grab something from underneath, it messed everything up. Having it all on the shelf is just so much easier and so much more convenient to grab. The cats do love to jump on the shelves, but they can only really reach the lower 3. So I've got some of the bulkier things that are easier to clean around and vacuum around than all the little tiny fiddly things up top. They tend to not get to. So you want in the closet? I guess we can talk about the closet. Full walk-in closet with pretty good storage. My girlfriend's clothes take up all of the closet in the bedroom, so unfortunately I have to keep my clothes in the office. Not a big deal. And then more storage space, stuff off the ground, and cats exploring. I don't let them in here very often, so whenever they get a chance, they love to just crawl and explore and sort of hide away. Charles, what does your cat nose smell? I mean, the room is pretty much how I have it laid out. There's nothing really I want to change moving forward. Everything's organized and set up the way I'd like. The only thing that I think I'm going to add over time is a cat, what do you call it? Like a wall jungle gym sort of thing. So I want to get some shelves and some steps leading all the way to the top of the room, and then get some platforms running in a circle all the way around so that they'll have room to run around, jump, hide, maybe get some little shelves or stuff hanging at the tops of the windows so they can hang up there, chill out, and leave me alone. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope it might give you some ideas for how you want to lay out your own studio. Thank you for watching. If you want to check out my other social media platforms, I'll make sure to drop links in the video description below. And as always, until next time, happy hobbying.